Hey gang, thanks for tuning in. Obviously we're not in my garage for this review. We are out here at my camping spot right on the lake. It's very windy. I'm hoping that this mic's gonna work with the windsock and everything, but I wanna show you yet another new light that OCLIP has just released and sent to me so I can show you guys. And it is kind of the newest version of the OCLIP. Now, if you guys don't know, they have three models of these little lights now. You've got the standard OCLIP, you've got the OCLIP PRO, and now you've got the OCLIP Ultra, and I'm gonna kind of try to help explain what the difference is between all of them. But these little lights right here, guys, have quickly become, surprisingly, one of my most used OLights. When they first came out, I really didn't think that I would use these a lot because they're just a little clip light. However, these are what I, for some reason, always seem to grab when I go camping, just because they're so small. They fit on my backpack strap perfectly. So I really do like them. And in fact, this little tiny little OCLIP, my wife and I use these in the morning when we take a walk or when we jog, because I can put it on this red and then I can make it flash. And actually what I do, I stick it on the back of my hat. So when we're walking, I don't have to hold anything, but cars can still see me. So I pretty much use that thing 2 or 3 times a week. They came out with this guy, which is the OCLIP Ultra. So what's the difference between the Ultra and the Pro? I mean, seems like Apple kind of started this whole thing with having 20 different models for the same light. But if you guys care about packaging, this is the new package. It's a really weird, like, soft touch. I know it does not matter at all what the box is, but this is probably one of my most favorite designs that OCLIP has. So I don't know if it's going to come through under the shade, but this is like a really, really dark navy blue with your stars and stripes. So really, really cool. But OCLIP Ultra, then you got the OCLIP Pro, okay? I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you straight off the bat, the main difference is the OCLIP Ultra on paper throws out a little bit more lumens, okay? If you compare the lumen output from the Ultra to the OCLIP Pro, this is a little bit more. However, to the normal person, the everyday human being, I don't think it's perceivable when you're actually using this light. This one's supposed to be a little bit brighter. I can't honestly tell the difference. The main difference between the OCLIP Ultra and the OCLIP Pro is this little light right here and this little light right there. This is gonna be your UV light. This is your red light, okay? So you can cut it on. You've got your red light there, and then on the OCLIP Ultra, you've got your UV light. That is the main difference between these two. And also, OCLIP is claiming, you know, this is that new OCLIP aluminum material, which I will say it feels a lot different. It's supposed to be a lot more scratch proof, a lot more hardy than just the standard OCLIP aluminums. But that is, for all intents and purposes, the main difference between these two lights. A little bit more output and you get a UV light or a red light, okay? Now for me, I'll be completely 100% honest. I wish the Ultra had a red light. I use the red light way more than I use my UV light. My wife, on the other hand, uses the UV light for a ton of stuff. She's got little crafts that require UV lights to cure the glue. So she's actually taken one of my Arcfeld Pros and kind of claimed it for her own because she uses that to cure the glue that she has to use. But I don't know. I really, really wish that this new design had the red light, but I can see there are uses for the UV light if you want to, you know, look for stains, check a $100 bill, look for scorpions out in the desert. There are use cases for the UV light. However, for me personally, I get more use out of the red light on the OCLIP Pro, okay? Now, as far as like aesthetics, let's see if I can get this in. So as far as actual aesthetics, they're very, very similar. You can tell the OCLIP Ultra is a little bit more squared off on the edges. You still got your same USB-C charging door. You can flip that up. Of course, they are still clips, just like all the other OCLIPs, hence the name, obviously. Magnet, same there. me get this light cut off. The power button's just a little different. So the OCLIP Ultra kind of has like a hexagonal, is that a word? Hexagonal? Looks like a hexagon on the outside of the button, where the OCLIP Pro is just a circle. But it's still the same toggle switch to go from your flood, your spot, or your UV versus the flood, spot, or red light on the OCLIP Pro. So just a few little design changes on the corners. The olight aluminum versus just the standard aluminum that they've been using. Pretty much the same weight. There might be a thousandth of a gram difference. I don't even know which one is heavier, but they both feel the same. Basically the same size, pretty much the same light, guys, other than, depending on what you really need, red light or a UV light. Now, like I said, I really wish Olight would put this version, this colorway. I mean, look at the back of the clip with the star and the stripes. That looks super cool. I wish this colorway was on the OCLIP Pro, because again, I just use the OCLIP Pro more. They do have one other version that we can take a look at here. I believe this one is going to be, this looks just like my Arkfeld Ultra. It's like a goldy bronze brown color. So right now you got this model, you've got the stars and stripes, and I'm sure within the next week, 2 weeks, you're gonna have more colors from Olight. That's what they kind of tend to do. But if you don't have an OCLIP, any of these models are fantastic in my opinion. You'll find a use for these things more than you'll realize. At least that's how I came to like these little OCLIPs so much. Even these little tiny ones. These little tiny ones are fantastic. You can't go wrong with any of these. I don't want to push the Ultra, I don't want to push the Pro, I don't want to push just the standard one, because they're all good. I can't tell you which one is a better one, because they're all a little bit different. But I think what I'm going to try to do, if I stay awake long enough, is I'm going to show you what the OCLIP Ultra looks like at night, some of the beam patterns, because you do have a spot, you do have a flood, and then that, of course, the UV light. I'll try to get some night shots of that. And I remember to get out of this nice cold camper at 10 o'clock tonight when it's finally dark out here. But guys, just check out, go to Olight's website. I believe on July 4th, they're going to have all kinds of sales for a lot more lights than just these OCLIPs, but I really don't think you can go wrong getting one of these models. The Ultra looks pretty cool. The Pro is great with the red light. And then the standard OCLIP is tiny, fits anywhere. You got a red light and you got a white light. So all of these lights are fantastic. But guys, let's switch to hopefully the night shot so you can kind of see what this light looks like at night. Because it does put out way more light than you would ever imagine coming out of a little package like this. So. All right, guys, so this is the lowest setting on the spot, and I'm just gonna cycle through it to give you guys kind of an idea how bright this gets. So that is the highest setting. And then we're gonna switch this to the flood. So you can see now you got a huge swath of light. We'll cycle that down to the lowest setting. So again, Olight, guys, just another tiny little light that absolutely puts out an insane amount. Here is the UV light. Hopefully we won't see any glowing critters or anything, but yeah, I mean this kind of glows. My cord glows, but that's the UV light for you. But back to the spot. Plenty bright for something that can fit in your pocket that is absolutely tiny. Well, we are back now from camping, and there were a few things that I did not go over in that video in terms of some features that these lights have that I wanted to kind of go over here real quickly. So if you have your light completely off and you triple click, and strobe warning guys, but triple click this side button, 1, 2, 3, you're gonna get a strobe. To cut it off, just press once. Now, if you have the light turned on, and this works for the spot and the flood, but if you have it on and you triple click, you're gonna get probably my most favorite thing. They call this the beacon light. And it's just a single flash, high lumen output flash that works again on both the spot and the flood. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. So last up close and personal view of these lights before we call this video a wrap. But again, guys, I really don't think you can go wrong with these lights. I really, really do like them. And I've had for about 2 years a 10% discount at OCLIP if you guys are interested in any of their lights, including these. So I will put my 10% discount link in the video description if you want to check it out. And again, good for basically any OCLIP, with the exception of 1 or 2 of their extremely high dollar, you know, $500 and $600 lights that aren't really useful for most of us. But pretty much all of their other lights, I've got a 10% discount, and I think these would be a pretty good option for that if you guys are just needing a pretty good little EDC light. So there is the OCLIP Ultra, and they're pretty sweet. I like these new models. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.